Hello and welcome back to my channel. Saturday morning again, doesn't it come round quickly, that weekly weigh-in? Well, I've actually had quite a nice week this week. We've been busy, which is a good thing. The walking went according to plan and we didn't push it this week because I needed to gain weight. We actually did, I think it was a total of 39.48 miles. What we're trying to do at this stage is keep it down to an average of kind of 5 miles a day-ish. So on a week where we can't walk for at least 2 days because we're busy doing other things, we try to get an average mileage so that by the end of that week we have covered at least 35 miles. So yeah, this week was 39.48. I went to group this morning and it was a big group and it was a lovely group, and I weighed in and I was laughing with my consultant's husband, who actually takes the money, and I asked him how had he done, and he'd lost 2.5 pounds, and I said, well, hopefully I'll find them. And I went to the scale and I took my shoes off and I got on the scales and I had gained 1.5 pounds, and I needed to gain 2. So the scale then flashes up, you have to go back to the desk and pay because you are still out of target. So you get the 1 week's grace, which is the week that you actually fall out of target. But I was thinking about it this morning and I think it's very fair. But next week, even though I may well be back in target, I still have to pay because you pay before you get weighed. So there's a system to it. Neither party loses out. Slimming World don't lose out. And as a member, I don't lose out. And as I say, I am happy to pay. I would happily pay to go to that group every week because I get so much out of it. As a Target member, I go free, but it wouldn't worry me if I had to pay regularly. So with a £1.5 gain caused by, last Saturday when we went shopping, I bought the larger size tub of full fat hummus. And I love hummus. I can just sit and eat it with a spoon, which is what I did. And we worked out that at 2.5 sins per level tablespoon, the tub that I ate at 200 grams was somewhere between 25 and 30 sins. So I thought that would help, and perhaps it did. And then I've been drinking full fat coffees in Costa this week, full fat milk coffees. But I have been sinning them, which seems really important to me. I can't just go off plan and choose not to sin things. But a little something I learned this week about drinking coffee out. If I drink what I enjoy as a full fat, flat white coffee in Costa, and they only do one size, it's a small one, so it's a normal teacup size. I think I'm right in saying, Joe, that was 7.5 sins. And then I added one sugar, so I made it 8.5. I think that was right. Check your books, it's in there. Then we went, because we regularly go to Costa's in the city centre. Then one day as we were walking home, we called at the Costa in the railway station, which is a much more sort of open plan, laid back affair. And I asked for the same coffee. I asked for small flat white, full fat. But it came in a takeout cup because it's a much more, as I say, it's sort of spread out in the foyer of our railway station. So it's not like a contained cafe area. Now, when it came, Joe's immediate reaction was, Mum, that's bigger than the one you had in the previous 2 Costas on the previous 2 days. So when we got home, we did check it in the book. And if you ask for it in a takeout cup, or if you're in a Costa that only does take-out cups, the coffees are actually a sin more because they are slightly larger.
I think it's the full fat version that's a sin more. If you get the skinny version, it's only half a sin more for the take-out cup. Yeah. But double check, it's on the app.
It's on the app, but just be aware of that. If you're picking one up to get on the train with it, or, if like our Costa at the railway station, your Costa doesn't do proper crockery, then be aware they are more sins. It's only one sin, but at the end of the day, and if you do it regularly, that can make a huge difference.
But you did say there isn't too much of a difference between
taste-wise,
the skimmed milk version.
Taste-wise, I was really surprised because I specifically, on Thursday or Friday, I can't remember which day, Thursday, said to Joe, get me the skinny version, and I'm going to see, because I thought I won't like the skinny version, because I am generally a black coffee drinker, but I like a creamy coffee. And I had enjoyed the first flat white, and I said to Joe, get me the skinny version, and I'm sure I won't like it, and that'll cure me. And he got me the skinny version, and the guy specifically said, this is skimmed milk, so we're sure he did it right. And Joe brought it back to the table, and I'd be perfectly honest with you, when I put 1 sugar in it, I couldn't taste the difference. So if you want to try that to save sins, I think it makes 3 or 4 sins difference. So, worth knowing. I asked my group leader about coffees, because when I'm out with friends and we're in Starbucks and places like that, or they buy take-out coffees or take-out chilled iced coffee type drinks, they can't understand why I don't deduct 6 sins and just drink it. So if, for example, this coffee says it's 7.5 sins, why wouldn't I just count it as an A choice and 1.5 sins? And I'd never thought about doing that. I just count sins. But I spoke with my group leader and said, am I right if I do this? Because I can have 2 A choices anyway, so I could choose to do it with my second A choice. And she said, Jane, your weight loss is your weight loss, and you have a right to protect that weight loss. Now, if you're asking me, would I do this? No, I wouldn't, because she said my weight loss is far too valuable to play with it. But what she said to me was, if you want to try it and it doesn't affect your weight loss, then fair play. But if I was asking her for her opinion and what would she do as somebody who has a 5-year weight loss which she maintains beautifully, then no, she wouldn't do that. So I guess there's going to be people out there who will do it and people who would choose not to do it. But as Naomi said, how do you know what's in that drink? How do you know it's 350 mils of skimmed milk or 250 mils of full fat milk? You know, if those coffees are the same size, whether they're full fat milk or skimmed milk, the quantities of milk aren't going to be the same. How do you know what you're getting for your money? How do you know what you're getting for your sins? So her advice was, if it's got a sin value in your book, just sin it and keep it simple. So that is what I'm going to do. That's what I had done anyway, but I'm going to stick with that because my weight loss is far too precious to play games with it. And I'm really comfortable in the way I'm living today. I don't need to do that. I don't need to be trying to steal sins back so I can have some chocolate or a packet of crisps or a packet of sweets, because I don't have the desire to do that anymore. I'm really comfortable with the way I eat. This week I did actually tried really hard, honestly, to do 2 A's and 3 B's, and I found it too much. If you're on your weight loss journey, you might not fully understand that. All I can say is wait till you get to target and you realise it's an evolving journey, because I cannot eat today the quantity or amount of food I used to eat. Whether it is, your stomach shrinks, whether it's your appetite, whether it's the fact my eyes used to be bigger than my belly, I don't know. But I cannot physically eat today the quantity of food that I used to eat. So I tried really hard to have 2 A's and 3 B's. I managed to have 2 A's and 3 B's twice this week. And on the other 5 days, I had 1 A and 3 B's. So with that and my hummus, I'm not quite sure where the £1.50's come from, but I'm grateful to have it. I have eaten a bit more pasta this week in the form of pasta salads, because lovely Debbie, SW, hi Debbie, told me about a pasta salad from Aldi called Orzo. I think it's Orzo salad with some dried tomatoes and spinach or something like that. But it was actually very nice, and it's 2 sins for the whole pot. So yesterday, when I needed to pick up a lunch while we were out in the car, and we were on a journey, it was nice and easy to pop into Aldi and pick up some vegetarian sushi and one of these pots of salad, and the whole lot was like, the sin count on what I ate yesterday for that meal was 4.5. That's easy for me and comfortable. So it's better than the old me, who would have popped into a petrol station, bought 2 packs of sandwiches and maybe 3 grab and go bags of crisps, and a couple of cans of fizzy pop. So, and I know I couldn't do that today. I know I physically couldn't do that today. So that's what I mean when I say I think your stomach must shrink.
I think it's down to the quality of what you're eating as well now.
Well, that was something we chatted about actually in the week, wasn't it, Joe?
Like how the ingredients in your food are less refined.
Last week I had an avocado and a pack of king prawns with garlic and parsley marinade. I ate them and I really, really enjoyed it, and it was like 9.5, 10 cents, something like that, well worth it. And after eating the avocado, and I think the avocado was like 110 grams, wasn't it? Something like that. Anyway, I ate the avocado and I ate the prawns, and I felt like I'd eaten a 3-course meal. I was stuffed. But then Joe says that's because of the fat in the avocado and they're filling you up. But also, over the last couple of weeks, since not this Waitrose delivery we had this week, the one before, I actually bought organic baked beans. And it's just a normal sized tin, like Heinz would be, or what's the other ones we like? Branston would be. But oh my God, these beans are like mega filling. And I've had them 3 times over the fortnight. And each time it's been like, good Lord, Joe, what did you put in that meal? I am stuffed. And Joe keeps telling me, Mum, it's down to the quality of food you're eating rather than the quantity. And he could be right. You know, I mean, nowadays, so much food is genetically modified. I don't know the science of genetically modifying food, but I know it happens. I know animals are cloned, because my son, who studies all this sort of health stuff and everything, explains to me the difference in some milk products that come from cloned animals. Do you know what? If I'm truthful, I don't really want to know, because I think I'd end up being, I don't know, beyond a vegan, if you can go beyond being a vegan, because it just makes me feel odd to think that I could be eating chicken that's full of hormones, growth hormones and antibiotics, that I could be eating beef that's full of those things, which is why today we buy grass-fed stuff wherever we can. And I think with the sort of head I've got, I have to be careful not to go too deeply into those things. But I do know that if I'm eating organic tomatoes or organic baked beans or whatever, then they cannot have been genetically modified. That works for me. One of my friends who's actually a chef by training, she doesn't work as a chef today, but she's a chef by training, always says to me, and she's done this plan and she's lost a lot more weight than I have, and she's looking fab. But she always says to me, Jane, if it's created from raw ingredients in a kitchen, it's good. If it's created in a laboratory, steer clear of it. And Joe's said similar things to me in the past, and I think it's true, isn't it, Joe?
Yeah, it's funny to think people imagine chefs cooking up Pringles and stuff like that. They're not created in kitchens, they're created in labs.
Well, we had a friend.
By food scientists.
Yeah, we had a friend, we've not seen him for years, who worked for Walker's Crisps, and I'm not particularly singling out Walker's here, because it must be true of every variety of crisps. But I remember at the time, I was a vegetarian, so we're going back a few years, probably to around, well, probably before Joe was born. And we're out with these friends, and he had a lot of samples of different things in his car, like, you know, reps and things often do, and he gave me a packet of crisps. And Richard just immediately went, no, Jane, you don't want those, they're beef. Because I was a vegetarian. And my friend knew I was a vegetarian, and he went, she's fine. There's no more beef in them than there is in your left ear. You know, beef crisps, prawn cocktail crisps, chicken crisps, they don't have beef and prawn cocktail and chicken in them, because it's chemicals that taste like those things. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with eating that. I'm not coming on here and saying I don't like what you eat if you choose to eat those things. We all have the freedom of choice. But things like that, you know, I'm just so naive. I did not know that. I gave one of the coconut macaroon bars to a vegetarian girl, not realising it had gelatin in it. She'd had one bite before somebody pointed it out. It's not the end of the world, and she wasn't upset by it because it was a genuine accident. But it just shows the value of reading labels, and beyond reading labels, actually knowing, you know, what you're dealing with, and then making a choice. Because there's nothing wrong with eating gelatin. There's nothing wrong with eating these flavourings and E-numbers and whatever. But I think that as grown adults, if we want to, make choices determined by, you know, whether we're on Slimming World or following Joe Wicks or clean eating or whatever we're doing, just in any walk of life, it's about being the best educated you can be, isn't it, today? Because, like, let's put it this way, if I had problems with debt, which I don't, so you don't need to send donations, but if I had problems with debt today, I wouldn't go and ask advice from somebody who was up past their eyeballs in debt. You'd go to a professional agency who could help you. Now, we have Slimming World trying to teach us how to eat healthily and go back to the basics of the way our mothers and our grandmothers did it and cook from scratch. So they're trying to get us on the right path. But we don't have anybody we can ask, really, do we, when we want to know about ingredients? You know, you see things on packets and it's E numbers and odd words, and I'm always harping on about the word nitrate because I don't think that word sounds healthy. I still don't know really what it means. But if I was feeding Joe today as a small child, I would be much more leaning towards organic food. Now, it isn't a problem for feeding him as an adult because his eating habits are far, far healthier than mine. And they always have been to a certain extent because he's always had a different taste for food than me. I always lean towards high fat, high salt, high sugar. Joe's never had a yearning for those things. He just likes nice food.
I think things like that are on a sliding scale and you build up a tolerance to them over time. So someone who douses their food in salt, you could wean it down and slide that scale down over time.
Can I share the story about your
facial?
Joe had some facial surgery, some quite well, it was big stuff. I mean, didn't have a deformation. It wasn't deformed or anything, but he had some quite tough facial surgery in December last year. And for about 3 months, for the first few weeks, he could only have liquids. Everything had to go through a syringe because his jaws were wired. And one of the things Joe started eating, because he could literally get it through his syringe, was, what do you call it? Ready Brek. He'd never had it before in his life, but it was a good way of keeping up the calories, using milk and getting food into it. But he liked it with some sort of syrup to sweeten it and salt, sort of that sweet and savoury. But what was the maximum number of twists of... I mean, he had a big bowl, so it was like 8 portions.
It was for months I was eating this Ready Brek, and over time I built up such a tolerance to the salt that it'd take like 90 twists of salt sometimes for me to even taste it.
Not 19, 90 for him to even taste it. Now, he had a bowl of porridge that was probably the equivalent to 8 or 9 portions, but that still would be 10 twists of salt per portion.
Yeah, I'm sure anyone else would have
I don't
spat
think
it out,
anybody
but I
else
could
could
hardly
eat it.
taste it. Yeah.
You could hardly taste it.
But I think that's true of just anything, like fat and salt and sugar. Like, if you build up that tolerance to it time and time again, if you keep eating it and keep feeding those habits, you're just going to increase where your marker is on the scale. So you have to have more of it to even taste it.
How did you do it?
Over time, just reduced it. So like one week I'd have 85 twists. It sounds ridiculous now, and then the next week I'd cut it down to 80, and you'd taste a difference for the first day or two, but after that it just becomes normal, and eventually I got it down to 3.
And I remember, and it didn't take you more than 6 or 8 weeks to get it down.
Yeah, to get my taste down, and anything more than that, it'd make me...
You couldn't take more than 3 twists, and 8 weeks before he was taking 90. So
it's just about tolerance, isn't it? It's like an alcoholic. Like if I don't drink, but if I was to go out and drink, I'm sure 2 pints and I'd be pretty tipsy. But it might take an alcoholic 50 pints before they feel anything. You know what I mean? Because they've built up a tolerance to it.
It's like stopping smoking. You know, we both stopped smoking a couple of years ago, or just over a couple of years ago. He stopped before me, and I know today, from the person who used to like the strongest Marlboro cigarettes, and if I went and stood up and lit a Marlboro cigarette, I would be swaying because the nicotine hits your brain. But when I was smoking 20 plus of those a day, it never had that effect on me, only occasionally, very first thing in the morning. And it's like when I used to be a coffee drinker with milk, I always used to have 2 or 3 sugars in my coffee. Today, if I want to have a treat, for the want of any better word, if I'm going to have a coffee in Costa with full fat milk, I'll put 1 sugar in it. I couldn't take more than 1, I don't think. If I drink black coffee, I can't drink it with sugar in. If I drink tea, I can't drink it with sugar in. Because today, if somebody accidentally gives me the wrong cup of tea or the wrong coffee... Well, we were in Costa again a few weeks ago, and I ordered an iced black coffee. And if you don't tell them to, they actually put sugar... Tell them not to, rather. They actually put sugar syrup in it. And Joe just passed it to me, and I picked it up with the 2 straws in it and went suck, 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 and then nearly choked. It was horrible. And I cannot tell you how sweet it was, but I could taste everything but coffee. And I know today that if I want a cup of tea or a black coffee, I like to be able to taste the tea, especially if it's something like Earl Grey, and I like to be able to taste the coffee. So weaning yourself off things, or for some of us, I mean, there's been some things in my life that I've actually gone cold turkey on, like the fags. I couldn't have weaned myself off cigarettes. I bought one of those, I don't know what they're called, vapor fags.
Yeah.
Oh, Joe taught me to go into the best place in town and buy the best one on the market. You're not having a cheap one off the market stall. You go into here and you pay $29.99 for this thing. Well, it nearly killed me. The guy said to me, if you're used to smoking strong Marlboro, you need a high nicotine one. 2 goes at that, and I felt like a miner who'd been underground for 40 years. So I tried to use that kind of thing to wean myself off cigarettes, and the only way I could get through the day puffing on that thing was to know that I could smoke at least 7 Marlboro at night. So that didn't work for me. I tried it. And there are some things, I think, in life that you do just have to go cold turkey on. And that was for quite a few food items. For quite a few food items, I've been like that. I had to go cold turkey on anything wrapped in pastry. Meat pies, pork pies, stuff like that. I can't have a little bit of that. I could have a little bit of a sweet pie, like I had the cornflake tart at my birthday, because I was never fully obsessed with that the way I was with savoury pastry. And I know today that, if I went, I need to gain some more weight for next week to get back into Target, but I know today if I went out and bought sausage rolls or something like that, I'd be in trouble by Wednesday because I wouldn't have been able to stop buying sausage rolls. So there are some things in life that it's all or nothing, and there are some things in life, I think, food-wise, flavour-wise, that you can gradually decrease. But, it's all about working it out for yourself, going through it, trying what works for you. This brings me round to a couple of products this week, and one of them, something so simple that I haven't been eating since I started Slimming World. And the reason I wasn't eating it, it's tuna, right? This is John West no drain tuna in sunflower oil.
Yeah.
You can get olive oil. Now, when it says no drain, it means you just open the tin. If you haven't tried it, I don't want to teach my grandmother to suck eggs, but there might be people out there who haven't bought this. This is not wet and sitting in oil. It's just got a little bit of oil into it. So you can go on the Slimming World app, and this is 3.5 cents a tin. It's not a case of you have to drain it and then it's 3.5 cents a tin. It's 3.5 cents as it comes. And the olive oil one is the same, but the olive oil one is getting quite hard to get hold of. This is generally between £1.80 and £2 a tin, depending on where you buy it. But at the moment in Morrison's, it's 3 tins for £3, which is fair, I think. Now, since I started Slimming World in May last year, I haven't eaten tuna. I don't like it in brine, and I don't like it in spring water because it's too dry for me. You probably love it, but that's too dry for me, and that's when I then need to put the biggest dollop of Heinz salad cream on it to make it bearable. But this is not dry. This is lovely. It's got the moistness that I like from tuna, and it's well worth 3.5 cents. I got that upside down.
No, it's the right way, yeah.
Because the ring pulls on the other end.
It's okay.
Okay.
It's right way.
The 3.5 cents make it well worth having. And I tell you how it's nice. And this is something I got into many years ago. I used to go to a health club in Nottingham. And I was slim then for a period. I used to go every lunchtime from work for an hour and a half. God, it nearly killed me. But I used to do an exercise session with a personal trainer. It cost me a bomb and nearly killed me. And then I used to go into the restaurant, and when I was getting showered and dressed, he used to go into the restaurant for me and order my lunch. And I used to have scrambled egg, and just as the scrambled egg is finishing, you tip the tuna in so it just slightly warms it, but you mix it and then serve it with salad. And so 5 days a week I used to go to this personal trainer. I was single then, I had money and no responsibilities. 5 days a week I went to him, and 5 days a week I had the same lunch. I lost a lot of weight, I got very slim, very fit. Then I fell in love, the start of a new romance. Don't we all gain weight? But I did. I've never looked back, I just kept going up.
We don't recommend eating tuna every day.
No, you see now, I know better.
Can't believe the personal trainer was telling you to do that.
No, but Joe, you're talking about 30 years ago. We didn't know 30 years ago that tuna was high in mercury. We didn't have that knowledge. You can only do the best you can with the information you've got. We know more now. So no, I wouldn't eat it every day now. I might have it twice a week, but probably will only have it once to fit in with the rest of what I eat. The other two products, which are both free on plan, and I think both of them would make quite a nice refreshing drink. So the one in my right hand is...
watermelon, coconut and white tea.
So it's like an iced tea, but without sugar. Because if you buy iced tea in a carton, it's really, really high in sugar. So that's that one and this one.
Peach, chamomile and green tea.
These are 4 calories each. I think, were they 69 pence?
Yeah, 69.
Yeah. So they're 4 calories each and 69 pence, and they were by the tills in Aldi. We've not seen them before. So I haven't tried them yet, but I'm going to try the coconut one at lunchtime. I think they sound perfectly acceptable as a cool, refreshing drink. Moving on to my word for today, and I've been racking my brains about this all week, and I still don't have clear in my head what I mean or what I feel about this word. And my word for today is happiness. Forgive me if I get emotional here, but when I started my weight loss journey back in 2010, I said to my best friend at the time, I was telling my best friend at the time what my plans were for the future. Surgery, diet, whatever. The whole plan. And I had no idea how long it was going to take me, but you know what you like. You think it'll all be over in 6 months, if you're anything like me. But I told him, what my plan was going forward, and he said to me, "What are you seeking, Jane? I mean, you've got everything you could possibly want. You've got a nice life. You've got, you've got a child. You've got a husband. You've got a car. You've got a home. You've got everything. What are you actually seeking?" Because there was always something in me that was seeking something. I mean, I'd tried religion. I'd tried all sorts of things. I'd tried meditation, and I'd tried crystal healing, and I'd tried Reiki, and I'd tried training to be a massage therapist, and I was always seeking something, and it never really touched that spot in me. And I said to him, I want to be happy. I want happiness. I want to be happy. And he looked at me and he just went, it doesn't exist. There is no one thing that you can define as happy. Now, he was a lot older than me. He was 23 years older than me, and a very wise man. So I started my journey, and the following week he came for lunch and he bought me this. And I don't know if you can read it from there. It's Clinique Happy. It's the spray by Clinique. I think it's about 50 quid or something. It's nice, isn't it, Joe?
Yeah, it is.
It's very delicate. It's very nice. Delicate, unlike me. And he bought me that, and he said, there you are. There's your happy. I mean, 6 years on, you can see I haven't used that much. I've used some of it, but not that much of it. And it is pretty. I look back over my journey, and my best friend died last year. So he didn't see me get to target. Just a minute, I'll pull myself together. He didn't see me get to Target. So he didn't see me get my happy. And it's just this weekend coming up to the first anniversary, and I still haven't got my happy. Well, apart from this bottle, I still haven't got my happy. And I've been talking to Joe about it, and I've been Googling bits, and I've been mulling it over and pondering on it and stressing my brain out over it. But I want to pose a question really to all you lovely people out there who take the time to watch this video. What constitutes your happy? I thought when I weighed 22 stone that being size 16, which is where I initially aimed to be, would make me happy. I said, if I'm a size 16, or even if I'm a 16 bottom and an 18 top, I'll be happy. Was I? Sodding hell. Excuse my French. It was nice to be a size 16. It's nice to be a size 12. But it doesn't make me happy. And I don't think that's because I'm a miserable old sod. And I don't think that's because I'm a totally negative person. I can be quite negative in some things. Joe's always telling me that. He says, you look on the black side. But what constitutes happiness? I've got a home I love. I'm surrounded by people I love and people who love me. We've got a car. I've got health and I can walk anywhere I like. I've got good food in the fridge and the cupboards. I've got a good bed to sleep in. I want for nothing in the way of material things. I've got the support of some brilliant friends, the love of some wonderful friends. I've got my mum, she's 84 but still in good health. I've got a fabulous younger brother. I've got a son who is everything I could possibly want him to be and more besides. What do I need over and above all that would make me happy? There are times when I'm happy, there's a lot of times when I'm happy. I'm a lot happier being a size 12 than I was a size 26. But I thought when I started the journey that the whole crux and of the entire whole, looking at it holistically, the crux of the matter, the crux of my problems was my weight. And yet I'm healthier, I'm happier in that I can run around, jump around, move around, and I have no medical concerns today. I'm on no medication the way I used to be. I'm not on antidepressants the way I used to be. I sleep better, and all of those things are factors. But I honestly truly thought that from the starting place of 22 stone to the finishing place of what I'm at today, 10 stone 3.5, which is half pound under target, but from that place to this place I would magically become happy. And I don't know today whether I was even aiming in the right direction. I don't know today that anybody could ever profess to be happy 100% of the time, because life happens. I mean, take for example me. I went to bed last night, switched my computer off, fine, not a problem. And my computer's less than a year old. Switched it on this morning and the darn thing does not want to work. It's coming up with all sorts of excuses. So what would the old me have done? The old me would have stuffed my face over it. The new me will not do that. I might just swear at it a bit later on, have another go, whatever. But little things like that can really knock my duck off. So I think, this is a very jumbled message today. I'm not offering solutions. I'm not offering explanations. What I'm saying is, what does happiness mean to you? Does happiness mean being in good health? Having somebody you love recover from illness and become healthy again? Paying off your mortgage? Buying your first house? What is it today that makes you happy? Just give me some ideas. What is it today that makes you happy? I am happy. I am very fortunate and I am very grateful. but I am not happy solely because of my weight loss. There's been a lot of things I've had to work on, and I'm still working on that journey, and it's a never-ending journey because we change as people, don't we? I used to be very happy, or made very happy, by material possessions. So I'd go out and have a really big shopping spree, and for a couple of days I'd be happy, happy, happy. That doesn't work anymore.
I think it even lasts for a couple of days though. It lasts until you get home and then you think, oh, what do I need? What do I want now?
You can't bother to put it all away, so you chuck the bags in the corner of your bedroom.
And that makes you unhappy because then you've got bags in the corner.
Probably, because I can't stand being untidy. But I went shopping the other day with a friend, and usually I can go into TK Maxx and there'd be nothing, you know, and I'm like, why isn't there ever anything I want? And I came out with like 5 tops on whenever it was, Wednesday, and I could have bought half the shop. It was one of those days when they just had a load of new stuff in, and it was all the colour I wanted or the size I wanted. And you know, I used to go in shops like that, and if I wanted, one of the things I wanted this week was a zip-up hoodie for walking in, and I used to go into shops like that, and I had to buy at least a 2XL in men's sizes. This week, walk into TK Maxx and buy two, and one's medium and one's small. Did that make me happy? It made me content, and it made me grateful because it was what I needed for my walking and everything, but it didn't make me happy. I did hang them up when I got home, I didn't just chuck them in the corner. But I'm trying to find in life the balance of being emotionally content and it not having to link with material possessions, because I'm trying to practice much more living as a minimalist, which is working in a lot of areas, but it's not working in the clothes area because I'm still in that unique position where it's a novelty to be able to go out and buy clothes that I want to buy rather than that I have to buy because it's all that fits me. And that is a lovely place to be in, and I'm grateful for that. But it doesn't make me happy. And I'm not looking for like the happy where I'm running around all the time going, woo, 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 I'm happy. I'm not that kind of person. But I just think it's an interesting exercise, and I would love some of you to say, you know, what makes you happy today? Has weight loss made you happy? And for some people it will have done, won't it? Because we're all unique. But yeah, that's where I'm at today, blathering on, mumbling on, no solution to the thing. It's not a problem. I am content. I am grateful to be who I am, where I am, and doing what I'm doing today. I'm eternally grateful to Slimming World, because without this plan, my life would be very, very different. If you've seen the before pictures of me, I look like Mrs. Glum, and I hope I don't look like that today. I hope I do have a bit more of a smile. There was a picture of me in the local paper this week, and I took it to show my mum yesterday, and she was like, oh my God, that is really a good picture of you. Now, my mum doesn't say things like that usually to me. She'd usually say, oh, well, you look a bit of a bugger in that. But she even said she liked what I was wearing, and that makes me happy, because it's took me 60 years to get to that place. So there are all sorts of little things. Happiness is, wasn't it what they used to say, a cigar called Hamlet? Or something like that. Anyway, the older ones would remember that. I'm going now because I'm waffling. Have a great week. Thanks for watching. Hope you're all doing well. And we'll see you next week. Remember, it works if you work it. It won't if you don't. Bye.